Hey, he joined. He joined.
Yo,
He joined? Yeah. Bro.
wait, can I be in here or can I not be in here?
Bobby?
Is it okay if I'm in here or no?
Yeah. Aren't you gonna have an MG1 like in 5 minutes or 10 minutes?
Yeah, I'm having another one right. Wait, what the? Wait, what? How'd you
I'm
guys?
hold on.
No, you're good.
Hey, 'cause we're watching your MG1, bro.
Oh, you were watching it.
Yeah, we're here to HPH.
Okay, hey, I like
That was
that.
up.
Hey, invite HP. No, I'm having another MG1 right now with Navaeh. No, bro, this was like one of the longest MG1s I just had right now.
I
That's
was she tough?
that's what.
She was relatable. That's what it was. She was
Yeah.
relatable.
She was very
She said she was
very talkative,
introverted.
bro.
I don't know if she's introverted, bro. She talks so much. Like I tried, like I realized that right in the beginning. Like, wait, this girl's talking heck up, bro. Like 30 minutes in, I only asked her like one question. I'm like, bro, what is this?
Bro, you see, I was telling Travis, I was like, that's how we feel when we talk to you. I like we're talking, and then you butt in, but you talk about a whole different other thing. And
That's
I
like
was like,
that's how you
that's
guys
how we.
feel,
Because
dude.
that's what she did.
It's kind of like, bruh. Like you feel that you're just there listening in. You're like, mm-hmm.
That's how
Like,
we
and
feel.
then at the end, you're like, oh yeah, thank you. And you're like, yeah. So going back to the point that we were talking about, and it's like, nah, dude. Dude. Oh my god, is that how I am? Really? Hey,
You
you
know
said,
how she was like butting in every sentence, like you're trying to say?
oh
That's
yes,
exactly how you
bro.
are.
Like I couldn't even say what I wanted to say, and then I forgot what I wanted to say because like she would talk about something and I would forget, bro, and I'd kind of get kind of like not pressed, but I'm like, oh, so then I look back at my book. I'm like, wait, what was I gonna talk about, bro? Like I forgot genuinely. I don't know why. I have a feeling this girl's gonna be a yapper too, bro.
She is, bro. I can already tell. 2 hours, bro. I was like, Travis, so where I'm going?
It's an hour 40 minutes, bro.
You
That
know,
was tough.
bro.
I'm
It
sending
was
this
good
girl the
though.
link right now, but I put the waiting room on, so it's good.
Bro. I just watched it. That's fine. I was actually reading the book you gave me. Or you let me borrow.
Oh, the yeah. That one. Do you like it?
All right, bro. We got straight to the point.
What?
They got straight to the point.
Nah, exactly. That's why I like that. It's so small. It's just like direct to the point.
Yeah. So direct to the point, bro. It's like bar, and it's like bar after bar after bar.
Nah, for real. Wait, that book. Did you see the parts where I highlighted or no?
Yeah.
Did I highlight bars or not?
I like what?
I said, did I highlight like parts that were tough or what?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Cause Pancho gave me that book. I'm like, hey, this is a W book, bro.
Yeah.
But I didn't even finish reading it. I gotta finish that book. I'm not gonna lie. Once you finish it, let me know.
Oh,
Okay. I bet.
I ran a bounce.
Well, we're gonna head out.
Where you guys gonna go now?
I look at class, bro. I'm probably gonna go there for like 30 minutes. I'm going like class in like a month.
Miss Tremendous.
Wait, what'd you
Come
say?
on.
You said you got class right now?
Yeah. I'm gonna go for like 30 minutes, bro. I haven't gone in like a whole month, bro.
Why'd you share the stash, bro? That's it.
That's what my girlfriend said too.
Why'd you keep sharing it, bro? You lost credibility.
I low key felt like I did. That's why low key I felt like little like I don't know. I haven't done an MG1 since like a while ago. Like my last one was like a week or two ago, and so like when I did it, it felt like heck a chop. This one felt way better, but like I couldn't just like MG1 her because like she kept talking, bro, and then I kept talking too. So it's like I know I have that problem now. So I know what you guys mean, but
Yeah.
hopefully this one goes better because I kind of got rusty with my MG1s because I took so long off because bro, I was too much
Yeah.
escante, bro.
How do you feel about that?
I feel good. It's been like what 3 days since I haven't done anything, and I mean I feel with that. Oh, she joined, but if I feel way more like like I feel like my vision isn't blurred anymore though.
There you go. That
Yeah,
no, I feel you.
yeah,
But
cause
yeah, we can talk later. Make sure to be there for floor plan.
No, yeah, I reserved Granite 172.
Yeah, I got it.
It's at
Oh, we
6:30.
got it.
Hey, also,
You have the
Yeah.
cable, right? You have the cable.
Oh, I may have left it in your car.
okay,
Do you have the
Actually, I'm not
adapter?
sure. I'm not sure, bro. I have to look at my backpack.
Okay, because I know the cable's in the back of my car. I just wanted to ask you. I was testing you right there. I know it's in the back of my car on the floor. I saw it. I was
Okay.
testing you, but it's good. I'll let you
I'm not
go.
sure, bro. I don't know. It might be in your car, but I'll see. If it is, then I'll tell CY.
All
We'll
right.
go get it.
Yeah, if you can, yeah, go get it. Cause after this, I'm gonna try to. I'm just gonna change and rush over the board plan.
All right, then, bro.
All right, I'm starving too, but it's okay. I'm gonna wrap this one up quick, bro.
All right, then, bro.
All right,
I'll catch you then.
I got you, my boy.
All right.
Recording. Hello.
Hello, hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. How's it going?
It's going well.
That's awesome.
I'm
That's
glad
awesome.
for you.
Nice to finally meet you. It's Nivea.
Yes, Navaeh, that's
Okay, yeah.
correct.
No, yeah, I just didn't want to butcher your name. No, yeah, that's
It's
awesome.
okay.
It's amazing finally getting to meet you now.
Yes,
Not just
nice to
seeing a
meet you.
LinkedIn profile picture. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm real. I'm not a robot.
Okay, that's good.
No,
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. Because when I meet people, they're like, oh, like they're like, oh, you're real. Like they thought I was a real person. I'm like, no,
Yeah, I told my mom and she was like, "Is he a real person?"
yeah, I'm
And sure,
real.
so I
No, yeah.
know.
All good, all good. No, yeah. So, how was school? You just got out of school, or?
I got out at 2:36, but
Mm-hmm.
my mom has to pick up my sister and she's in ninth grade now. So we're
Oh,
going to
okay.
two high schools.
Yeah.
So it takes me still a bit to get home. But I've
Mm-hmm.
been home for about an hour, so I've
Oh,
been able to
for sure,
relax.
for sure.
But school's boring. It's always boring. That's what I say whenever anybody asks me.
No, you're
But
good. You're good. No,
I'm just waiting to graduate, really.
there you go. Wait, correct me if I'm wrong. You're senior, right?
Yes.
Okay, for sure, for sure. No, yeah, that's awesome. You're literally like right about to graduate, so it's like
Yes, I'm
it's right
so
around the corner.
happy.
Honestly,
So happy for it. So
no,
happy.
no, yeah, that's awesome. I remember when I was a senior. Oh my gosh, I had remember like the last week. It was like senior. What was it called? Senior Dare Week or
Oh,
senior?
is it senior ditch day?
Yeah, we had like a senior ditch day, and then
Oh,
but it
okay.
was but I guess like for our school, our high school at least, it was like a senior week. So it was like there's a senior ditch day,
Oh,
there's like a Nerf war throughout the whole week, and then it's
oh,
like there's a day that like everybody like yeah the senior ditch day everybody dishes they go to like a river. It was insane, but
that's cool.
yeah, it was it was pretty cool. It was an experience. That's what I'd say.
I
But
think we're gonna do that too, but I can't do it
no,
because I can't miss any more days, or they're not
mm,
gonna let me walk the stage.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
So
sad.
unfortunately, yeah, yeah. Just go to school.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. So I mean, in college that's gonna change. But yeah, I mean, it's finally good to actually meet you. Um,
Yeah.
my bad. I didn't mean to like reschedule the appointment yesterday. I just had some
That's
like
okay.
difficulties come up, and I was like, man, like I know I moved the time, and then like I had to move the day, so I was like, oh man, kind of
That's
unfortunate.
okay.
But
I've just been chilling, really. I haven't been doing much, honestly.
no, you're good. You know, yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. But
Hmm.
yeah, I kind of just wanted to kind of introduce myself just a little bit, just so you know who I am, a little bit more
Hmm.
about me, so you're not talking to a complete stranger. My name's Christopher. I'm actually a second year here at UC Merced, and if I'm being completely honest with you, like a year ago, or matter of fact, like high school me, my senior me and freshman year me, I was a completely different person, and could be hard to believe, but I was just kind of, if I'm being completely honest, every day, like my freshman year, I was either going out to parties, I was like drinking, I was like smoking, I was doing just a lot of, a lot of things, that kind of carried on from like high school to, my freshman year of college. I'm like, oh, freedom. I'm like 3 hours from home because I'm from the Bay Area.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and so I'm in Merced, so it's like a 3 hour drive. So like, my mom can't come over here. Like, she'll let me know if she
Hmm.
comes. So I was like, man, there's just like like it was a big change, I'd say, because I lived with my parents my whole life, and so
Hmm.
kind of coming to like a UC to a college, was a big change for me. So I kind of had a lot of freedom, maybe too much freedom,
Hmm.
but yeah, so I'd say like just kind of doing all those things in my freshman year, my senior year in high school. Kind of just led me hanging around like the wrong people, like the like a wrong negative
Mhm.
association, and I can kind of go more in depth about that, but I'd say like what really like made me want to shift my mindset, what really like, kind of like actually want to like change was not just this business, but I'd say it was definitely like this mentorship. And
Mhm.
I say that because like the association that we have here, like we don't promote drugs, alcohol, smoking, things like that. Like no
Mhm.
vulgarity. Like every sentence I said had a cuss word in it when I was younger. Like every sentence, like I would cuss and I wouldn't even realize I cussed. That's how bad it was. And so
Mhm.
kind of just like surrounding myself with people who actually had dreams, who had goals,
Yeah,
and
that's important. Yeah.
yeah, and that's something I didn't realize. And something that my coach told me. She was like, Christopher, you're the average of the five people you hang around with. And when she first told me that, I was like, nah. I had some ego. I was like, nah, like I don't believe her. Like she's just saying that just to like like just to get me mad. And then I kind of reflected. I'm like, wait, looking back at it now, my freshman year in college, I would only hang around like people who would smoke, people who would party. So it made sense that my grades were low and that I would only go out and party and go do all those things, because like I would hang around people who would negatively influence me. And then I was like,
Mhm.
okay, maybe that's just like just luck. Then I thought about my senior year, my junior year, the same thing. I'd only hang around with people who would ditch class, who wouldn't go to school, things like that. So I would do it too. But
Mhm.
that's also like kind of like the power of like the mentorship, because I was like, wow, I never thought about these things before. Like now, why am I barely thinking about them now? And
Mhm.
so I'd say that's something that definitely kind of like made me like want to change, because I saw how I was actually starting to develop myself. And not really me, but first of all it was like my mom saw big time, because she
Mhm.
knew what she created. Like she raised me her whole life, so she saw when I started like acting a little different, changing, wearing a
Mhm.
little bit more professional clothing, talking differently, not cussing all the time, and she was like, hey, like, what are you doing? Like, I'm kind of curious. You're going to these meetings wearing a suit and a tie. You never do that. Like, what's going on? Or on Zoom, like I'm just wearing like a suit and a tie, and I'm wearing like pajamas on my on the bottom half. Like, hey, it's professional for Zoom. And so, you know, um, definitely like my parents, like my close, like my family and my friends, like they noticed the change in me first. But
Mhm.
I didn't even notice it like for like the first like 3 6 months. But I'd say that's like a little bit about me. I could go more in depth about who I was when I was like definitely like say like in high school. Um, like I didn't want to go to college. I just wanted to work. And my freshman year, I ended up actually getting arrested. Why? Because again, hanging around the wrong people at the wrong place
Mhm.
at the wrong time. Um, I actually got arrested on New Year's, and I'd say that's something that definitely like disappointed my mom and my dad.
Mhm.
So that's kind of
Yeah.
why I actually wanted to like do something more. Because yes, I've always kind of had this like drive, this ambition to want to like be like a business owner, to like want to do something for myself. But after I kind of did that, I was like, all right, you know what, like you messed up, Christopher. Like you gotta like do something. Like pay back, but not just because of this, but because like you want to. And so after that, it was like really difficult for my parents, having to kind of go through all that. And I'm the middle child, so I have an older brother, I have a younger
Me
sister, a
too.
little
Me too.
brother. There you go.
Yeah.
We relate with that. And so
Mhm.
my mom was just like, like I would have expected this from maybe your older brother, but not you. And so I was like,
Mhm.
dang. So that hurt me more. And so like, having to kind of deal with that, I was like, just really like, man, like I got to give back to my parents. And so I ended up getting out of juvenile hall. It was only a few days I was in there, because it wasn't such a big, like such a terrible thing that I did. I did
Mhm.
vandalize. I was like 15 years old, and just wrong place, wrong time, hanging around the wrong people. And so yeah, I ended up getting arrested. My school ends up, they expel me because I vandalized in elementary school.
Mhm.
And because of that, I had to start working. I was 15 years old, and I'm working at a little Baskin Robbins. The minimum wage was like 14, and I was getting paid $12. So I was like, this is
Mhm.
illegal, but I'm like, whatever. I need a job. And
Yeah.
so, none of my friends at 15 are working. I'm like the only one working. They're having fun and stuff. I'm like, dang, I'm
Yeah.
putting my apron on, my little hat and stuff, serving ice cream. I'm like, man, this kind of sucks. You know, I don't want to work. But
Yeah.
you know, I kind of went through that. You know, so that's kind of like I say, like what kind of actually made me want to go to college after, because my mom ended up switching me school districts, and then like
Mm.
she enrolled me in Avid, and that was like a college career readiness. I'm not sure if you're familiar with
Mm.
Avid or not,
I
but
don't think so.
nah, it's all right. So it's pretty much just like a almost like an extra class that you kind of take to kind of help you prepare for like college and stuff. And my
It's
mom was
cool.
like, "You're taking that," and I was like, "Why?"
Okay.
And I was like, I'm not even gonna go to college, you know." She's like, "I don't care. You're taking the class." So I took the class, and that's when I met a teacher. You know, she really impacted me. She's like, "Christopher, you know, like." She saw something in me that I couldn't see in myself. She's like, you're super ambitious. You're super loud. You're super talkative. You should go to college. And I was like, why? Like, I'm not trying to do all that. Like, I'm in school 9 years. Like, you think I want to go for another 4? Like, I'm good. And like, I got to pay for it. Like, what's the point of like? I'm not trying to pay for school. So she's like, no, like, you should really think about it. I'm like, well, my family, like, bro, like, my mom, my dad, they're immigrants. Like, we got no money. Like, we're pretty
Mm.
broke. Like, it's just like I feel like it wouldn't really work out. And then she told me about financial aid, all these things like that. She pretty much walked me through it. And so,
Mm.
I ended up coming to UC Merced, partially because I wanted to, mainly because of the financial aid and because, I knew it wasn't
Mhm.
going to be a burden to my parents. So that's kind of ultimately why I chose to come to UC Merced. But I feel like the main reason why I actually chose to even come to college was because of like the networking, the connections. And
Mhm.
I didn't know about that like yeah, but my teacher told me about that. She's like, no, like even if like it's gonna help you for your career to actually think of like something further than just working like a regular job, but think about the connections you can make, Christopher. And that's something I didn't really think about until actually my coach, she mentioned that to me again. She's like,
Mhm.
Christopher, it's not about what you know, but it's about who you know. And I was like, dang.
I've heard that so many times. So many people have told me that. And at first, when I was younger, I didn't get it
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, well, if you're smart and you're able to do well in your field, then it shouldn't matter who you know.
Exactly.
But
That,
now,
that was me too. That was
yeah,
literally
now I
me.
understand it.
No,
I
yeah,
understand it now.
and literally, just how I reached out to you on LinkedIn, my
Hmm.
business partner, Tona, he reached out to me. And the only reason he reached out to me was because my major, it was business management and economics. And then, I'm part of a club. I'm the director of the entrepreneurship department. And I only did that because, I wanted to kind of step out of my comfort zone a little bit my freshman year. But that's kind of, like just sidetracking. But, he reached out to me on LinkedIn and, trying to just share this opportunity with me. And I was like, wow, like I reflected back. I'm like, yo, my teacher is right. Like I would have never, like even had this, like opportunity arise if I never even came to Merced, if I never even came to college. Like, so,
Yeah.
she kind of had a point. And so, you know, I'd say like, that's like a little bit about me. My bad. I didn't mean to kind of go like so much, but, yeah, I mean, I kind of wanted to ask you, Navaeh, like maybe just, just share a little bit about yourself. I know you're a senior in high school, but,
Hmm.
maybe just, yeah, just share a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, well, I come from a single parent household.
Mm-hmm.
It's just me, my older brother, my mother,
Mm-hmm.
and my younger sister.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, it's definitely posed lots of challenges to me towards growing up. But my mom, she's my biggest support system.
Okay.
So in whatever initiative I wanted to do, she was there to support me through it. Luckily, she's been driving me to and from school, so I don't have to worry about public transportation or all of that. Or whatever like little money I need for a program or whatever, she's there for me. But yeah, my mom, she helps me. I'm the middle child. Um, well, I've always been really, I've always been a quick learner.
Hmm.
So
There you
my
go.
mom, when I was younger, she would give me flashcards or she would just give me things to try to help me because she saw how quick I was able to understand them. So
Mm-hmm.
she would give me like leapfrog, flashcards, like books, all of this stuff. I never really had any toys to play with, but
Yeah.
the way that she raised me when I was younger really helped me grow into who I am now. And now, like once I got into high school, I took all of that with me, all of her helping me just become more confident in how I in my decisions and
Mm-hmm.
how I think and how I learn. That helped me I joined a whole bunch of programs in high school. I joined Upward Bound, VIPS,
I've heard of
Fast
that.
Track, like a lot of programs. And all of those programs that I joined, I did like done volunteering. I'm in my school's marching band. I've
Mm-hmm.
been playing the clarinet ever since third grade. And
That's
that's
when I
something that's,
started playing it too, actually.
oh, really?
I
Oh,
don't
that's
play it
nice.
anymore, not anymore. But that's
Okay.
you reminded me of core memory. I had a green clarinet.
A green clarinet. What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Green, I didn't know they made green clarinets.
It was on
That's
Amazon. I
cool.
was like, Dad, please buy it for me. I want a green clarinet.
The clarinet's like really hard to play because I'm also in LUSD's honors ensemble.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be performing next Saturday in
Wow.
LUSD's Arts Fest, and I've been having these are the hardest music pieces that I've had to play in my life, and it's so challenging. But I love challenges because
Yeah.
it's just I love learning. I love challenging myself because it's just like it feels good to be able to say or to show that I did this hard work and this is what
Of
came out of my
course.
hard
Oh
work.
yeah.
But um yeah, I've done lots of academic things in school. But for me, who I am personally, I play the clarinet. I really do like to do jigsaw puzzles. Yeah, my mom, one thing she also gave me a lot of when I was younger was jigsaw puzzles.
There you
I
go.
started with, when I was like three, I think, or five. I
Wow.
started with 500 piece. Oh no, when I was three, I started with 500 piece. And then when I was five, I moved up to 1,000 piece puzzles. So
Dang. That's
that's just how I
impressive. That's
am. I'm
impressive.
smart. I'm smart like that. Uh, Puzzles, I like to listen to lots of music. I
Uh-huh.
used actually before like middle school, I actually wanted to be a singer or like a performer, like a dancer
Uh-huh.
instead of a audio engineer. But
Yeah.
that was just kind of like a crazy, like a kid dream, you know. It
Yeah.
wasn't a real tangible dream. That, I like to play video games a little bit,
There you
but
go.
mostly story games. Games
Okay.
that are like it's like reading a book or like a movie,
Mm-hmm.
but I get to make the decisions. I really like that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Um, Games. I like to read. Well, I read a lot when I was younger and in middle school,
Mm-hmm.
but not so much recently because it's just so many things going on in high school. Not much time for reading anymore. Just
Yeah.
sad. I'm trying to get into it again though. I have so many books just collecting dust, but I'll read them soon. Um, yeah, I think, is that enough?
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's not a limit, I mean, you can share however much you like to share. I mean, it's up to you. I
Okay.
mean, no, but I mean, you shared a lot there. I mean, I got to know, you're obviously really smart. You did like what 500 like
Thank
puzzles at
you.
like what 3 years old. Like
Yeah.
I do that
It
now at
just
my age.
clicked
I'm like,
for
what the
me.
heck? Like I still have trouble doing it, but
It
nah.
just clicked for me. I don't know how she just gave them to me and I was just able to do
You're
it.
just like, yeah, you just put the pieces together. I guess it's simple for you. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
I'd say like definitely like, well, at least when you first told me, and you said you're a quick learner, and in my head I'm like, oh, I'm a quick learner too. Like
It's
especially when it came
good.
to like jobs and things like that. Like I just pick it up like that. But
Mhm.
for certain things, not for everything. But
Okay.
no, yeah, because definitely not for math. I tell you
Oh,
that.
yeah, I'm struggling in
I struggle
math.
with math. Oh
I'm
yeah,
struggling.
yeah.
It's
So
hard. It's really hard.
yeah, I remember.
I tried to challenge myself this year and take AP pre-calc. That was like the worst decision I could have ever done.
Hey, that's
I
impressive though.
I thought I'd be able to handle it. I mean, it's not. I don't want to be like that, and I don't want to place the blame on my teacher
Mm-hmm.
because it's a 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
But he makes it very hard for me.
Mm.
Makes it very hard.
Mm.
So I've been trying my best, but I still haven't memorized the unit circle, and the AP exam is very soon.
Okay, no,
So
yeah.
I'm
So I
excited.
remember that the when I was in my senior year, I was the only senior, or like there was like only two seniors in the junior class for algebra two,
Oh,
and I had to remember the unit circle. I
yeah.
remembered it for like a week. After that, did not remember it
How'd
anymore.
you memorize it? Nobody's been able to help me.
So I'd say what helped me actually memorize it was, I'm not sure if you guys did this, but I remember we had to like we my teacher, she made a like she gave us a plate, and essentially we just had like a plate, like a regular like the plastic white plates, little cheap ones. we put like a little like it's hard to explain it, but we pretty much made a unit circle with like a plastic plate or like
Mhm.
those like little paper plates, and with like a little like clip, she like we made a hole in the middle of it, and we pretty much almost made it like a clock, literally almost like a clock,
Okay,
and then we
okay.
drew all the triangles and pretty much all like the different what is like the pies and the I don't even remember them at this point, but I remember like we like pretty much you're supposed to draw on it and like draw the different color. We had like different colored triangles on it. Like there was like pink ones, neon orange ones, and neon yellow ones, and each one
Mhm.
represented the 30, 60, 90 triangles on
Okay.
it. And so we pretty much were able to move them like
Oh yeah.
clockwise. So that's what kind of helped
Okay.
me, like cause I'm a visual learner. I gotta like see it and like all right, show me how
Yeah.
to do it, and I can like do it. But she would like draw it on the board and like talk about it, and like I'm lost, bro. Like you gotta like sit down one on one and teach me how to do this because I remember I actually had to get like a was it like a tutor because I'm not math strong when it comes like anything but math like
Yeah.
yes like but I remember that's how I learned it. I just watched a lot of videos on it too, like just trying to remember the unit
Okay.
circle, and it's really just repetition. Like you got to do it. Like I know it sucks, you don't want to do it, but I
Yeah.
had to do it because if I didn't pass that class I was not gonna like walk. I was like so
Okay.
I had to pass that class because it was embarrassing already. I was like the only senior in that class, and it's a
Yeah.
junior class because like that's how you can tell I'm not good at math because I
Mhm.
took what algebra two my senior year, and it's like
I had to
when
memorize the unit circle in algebra too.
yeah
What?
yeah
I've never told about in algebra too.
really
No, I'm only getting introduced to it in pre-calc. AP
wow
pre-calc.
no I
That's
yeah I mean at
crazy.
least for me because I did what it was I did like algebra one like my fresh like my sophomore year. I remember I didn't even do algebra one my freshman year, and then I did like geometry my my junior year, and then I did algebra two my senior year. So it was like
Okay.
my home like just like when it came to math, it was just it was chopped.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I mean I appreciate you sharing a little bit more about yourself. Got to know you a little bit more.
I
But
did forget something.
what was that?
I had a job uh in my 10th grade year. It
Really?
was a bit of it was my first job ever. I was 14.
Dang.
I got it through a friend. Cause the it was a place. Have you been to LA?
Yeah, LA. I've been there a few
You
times.
know the Grove?
I feel like I've heard of it.
Okay, it's like a farmer's market kind of or a
Yeah.
shopping center.
Mhm.
It was a candy shop in the Grove,
Mhm.
and that was like my first work experience ever. My mom, she was like, "Oh, you can work." She just told me like what to put on my like application.
Yeah.
I put down 8 hours. So I was working 8 hour shifts
Yeah.
every Saturday or Sunday,
Mhm.
and it was pretty cool, but I didn't I don't think it was the best job I could have had for my
Mm.
first experience because I was doing literally everything in the store because it was a small family-owned business.
Okay.
So I had to clean, had to wash the dishes, I had to do the cashier, I had to clean stock up the candies, I had to do
Yeah.
everything.
Mhm.
So it was stressful, but I made like 16. No. Did I make 16 an hour? But I made good money.
I
But
mean, yeah, 14. If you're making any type of money, it's good money to be honest. But no,
yeah,
yeah, I don't think anybody's first job was the best job ever. It's pretty much just like
yeah.
if you get money for your time, it's like that's literally what it is. But no, I mean, hey, that's really impressive. Like I don't talk to a lot of high schoolers your age who are kind of doing all these programs, band, and then working at such a young age. I mean, I
Well,
started well.
I had to stop working after like I think 6 months because it was too much for me to handle.
Hmm.
Because like my schedule was okay. I had school, had that for the whole week.
Yeah,
Then I either had work 8 hours
yeah,
on Saturday or Sunday, and then I had my programs. They have Saturday academies,
okay,
and that's like basically just another school day.
yeah,
So my whole week would be busy sometimes, and I wasn't able to handle that at the moment, so I had to quit. But
yeah.
the best decision for me at that time.
Oh yeah, of course. Do what's
I
best
still
for
had
you,
that. I
especially.
have that experience, and I'm also gonna start working in the summer, this summer,
There you
as
go.
a camp aide for like little kids, a
Oh,
recreational
that's
camp aide.
awesome.
And I'm excited.
That
Yeah.
actually sounds cool. Camp Aid. That's actually something that I feel like I've.
Mhm.
What was that? Is it similar to kind of like a like boys and girls club type of thing?
I don't even know what those are.
Oh,
Wood
okay.
Girls College.
Okay, no, you're good then. It's good. But no, I mean, yeah, it's really impressive. You know,
Thank you.
what? It's you're senior, so you're like what, 17, 18, around there, like
Yeah, I'm 17.
17.
Yeah.
Okay.
My birthday is in December, so
What day?
12th.
Oh, okay. I was about to be like, if you say 23rd, I'm like, nah. I'm a December baby too. That's why I asked.
That's nice.
December 23rd. But yeah, no, yeah, it's really impressive. You know, I, I I talked to some college students here. You know, some of them don't even have their first
Oh,
jobs yet. So you know, knowing you worked at 14 and you're doing all these programs,
thank you.
speaks
Thank
highly.
you.
But yeah, I mean, I kind of wanted to ask. You know, like I know you said well, I'm kind of just curious, really. You know, like I know I reached out to you on LinkedIn, and first of all, I'm surprised you even had LinkedIn as a high school. I didn't
Oh,
get LinkedIn until my freshman year. So
yeah.
like when I saw that you told me
Right.
you're in high school, I'm like, oh wow, you got LinkedIn. Like I was not on LinkedIn in high school, so
Yeah,
you know,
I don't know much about the app. My advisor from a program told me to get it.
uh
I was just like, I'll worry about it when I graduate. But
no, yeah, no, yeah, but I mean, I'm kind of curious, what kind of like caught your interest, like in my message, like when I reached out to you, like what made you want to like respond, or like what kind of interested you?
well, first when I saw that you were a student at UC Merced, so I was like, I'm looking because all my advisors, all the older people who've gone to college that I know have told me that networking is the most important thing. So that's
Yeah.
what was in my mind when engaging with anything college. So when I saw that you were from UC Merced, I was like, oh, this is a networking opportunity. So that's
Mm,
one reason that I was open to message you.
awesome.
And then I checked over your profile and I was like, oh, business, entrepreneurship. I was like, I could do something with that because I do my end goal in bioengineering is to make my own business one day.
Really?
So yeah, maybe you could help me. I was like, maybe you could help me in that or give me the starting steps to get up there. So I was like, and even then, nothing could go wrong. Like I couldn't lose anything if I interacted with you. So
Yeah.
it's a win-win either way.
I mean, you couldn't have said it better. I actually, applaud you for like thinking
Thank
like that far through. Because me
thank you.
personally, I would have seen the message when I first saw the message when my business partner reached out to me. I was like, oh, let's go, let's meet up. I didn't even think about what I can lose, what I did, this and that. But no, yeah, I mean, it seems like you're like kind of like like what you want to do. I know you said you want to go into what was it? You said biomedical engineering.
Yeah,
Oh,
bioengineering, but
bioengineering.
I honestly, I kind of just want to do everything in the field of bioengineering, really. Like, that's just, like, I have my ideas for my inventions that I want to make, and they're kind of all over in the industry. Some are
Mm-hmm.
biomedical, some completely different.
Oh
But,
yeah. I was just saying
yeah.
biomedical because that's what I thought you said. I might have misheard, but I have a business partner, doing
Mm.
the same business as me, and he has a biomedical engineering background. So like you don't need to be
But,
have be studying business to run your own business. So
mm,
that's kind of what a lot of people kind of say like, oh, like it business opportunity, like I'm doing engineering. I'm like, that's completely fine. Like my business coach, he's an aerospace engineer. Ain't
that's
nothing close to business with that, but he's been running this business for 10 years. Like doesn't matter. But
that's good.
it's kind of just about having like that mindset of like being open minded, or having goals. Like you said, you want to open your own business. In the future, and that's awesome. I know for me definitely that was also one of my dreams too. Like when I was younger,
Mhm.
um, I've kind of always had like this entrepreneur spirit. I'm not sure if maybe you're familiar with this, but when I was younger in my elementary school, everybody knew me for selling the candy, the chips,
Yeah,
the
yeah, there was
Arizona.
those kids.
That was
Yeah.
me for sure. Yeah, that was me. And then high school came. Hey, I got you guys. And then in college, my freshman year, on my dorm door, I had like a sign. I had cup of noodles, I had chips, I had candy. People were knocking on my door, zelling me, and I had to like come out of class and come get their stuff and then go back to class. So it was like I pretty much I just always thought of ways to make money like on the
That's
side,
good.
because not because like I just wanted money, but because like I never liked asking my parents for money, because we kind of always came back, from like very like low income background. My mom and
Yeah.
dad, they both came when they were like 16, 17 years old to the US. And
Mhm.
so, they were just really young and they didn't really know, what was over here. They couldn't really speak English. So,
Mhm.
all they really know is to work. And they just know how to work and work. And, unfortunately, my parents, they never went to college. Only one of my
Mhm.
parents graduated high school. But, very similar to, I kind of grew up in like, what was it? Like, I would say like with my mom. Like, yeah, I did have my dad, but he kind of
Mhm.
wasn't in the picture for a while. He kind of like went to Mexico, and I just like I was young, so like I just thought my dad left. I'm like, dang, I don't got a dad now, so
Mhm.
it kind of just like all right, like I got an older brother though, like hey, like teach me
Mhm.
the ropes, like I don't know. Comes back
Yeah.
randomly, and I'm like, bro, we're like, where were you? Like what? Like I forgot I had a dad. Like so it was just really
Yeah.
awkward. So I feel like it's kind of weird, having that like relationship with him now. But I mean,
Yeah.
he's my dad, so like I love him unconditionally. But it's, like at the same time, it's like when I was growing up, it's like where were you at, So it's like,
Yeah.
um, I'd say definitely relate with you on that too, So kind of having that, you know, kind of unfortunate, you just have like one parent to kind of do everything. So your mom is like your mom and your dad, she's like
Yeah.
Superman at this point. She kind of does everything for you. So I can definitely
Mhm.
relate with that. But yeah, because of that, I always kind of lived either like in super, like crammed spaces like with a lot of family, or I just just didn't never lived in like the nicest areas and was kind of always moving schools like
Mhm.
every other year because the rent was too expensive and things just kept happening. So like, literally me, it's like yeah, I live in the Bay Area, but like in the Bay Area, there's a bunch of cities. So I went from like city to city to city to city. So like, I know people from
Mhm.
like this city, I know people from that city, I know people from over there. Like that's
That's
what you
so
said. Like
cool.
it's cool, but it sucked when you were a kid because I made
Yeah.
friends and then I had to leave. Oh, bye guys, and they're like, oh, you're leaving. I'm like, I'm used to it, bro. Like,
Yeah. That's
but
sad.
I mean, it was cool, but it was kind of unfortunate at the same time, double edged sword. But no, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's interesting though. Like so you kind of already know, like what networking's about. It's important to network.
Yes.
You kind of have some goals, things like that. So I mean, I kind of want to ask like I know we're on like this meeting right now, but what kind of like like motivates you, to kind of like like want to do all these things, because like you're doing band, you're like you worked already, you're gonna work again in the summer, and
Mhm.
you're talking to these people that they're telling you some good things obviously. So what kind of
Mhm.
motivates you, despite I'm not sure if you have any distractions. I know in college there's distractions, but maybe as a a high schooler, I know I was distracted in high school. So what kind of keeps you,
Yeah.
like motivated to kind of keep moving forward on like kind of keep going.
Well, definitely wanting success for my family,
Mm.
not just for me, but for my family, because my mom, she works so hard to take care of all of us, and she wasn't able to achieve the dreams that she wanted to when she was young.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I'm able to do that for her in a sense, I
Yeah.
want to make sure that I actually do that, that I'm not gonna be
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be working a minimum wage job. I want to make sure that I'm successful and that I'm going to be able to help my family, help all of us kind of just like get out of poverty and
Mm-hmm.
become actually like a stable, like successful family, like with a name
Mm-hmm.
to ourselves. Um, yeah, helping my family, then also for myself, it's just like in my personal values that I wouldn't really feel okay with myself if I didn't push myself to be the best that I could be. I want to see myself. So I know like from just how I am, like I'm quick learner, I'm a go-getter, so I want to strive for the best. I want to make money. I want to be successful, and I guess being in a STEM field, that's one way to do it. Going to college, going to STEM field, that's one way to do it. Yeah, motivating myself, my family. But yeah, I think mostly the big thing is just like either in my family or seeing in my community, just
Mm-hmm.
like they're not able to achieve their dreams. And if I'm able to, I want to do that so I can inspire them. Maybe the adults, I can just, be a pillar of inspiration for the community, but also for the kids. Maybe I
Yeah.
could inspire them to want to do something for themselves as well. that. And then maybe once I'm successful enough, I'd want to give back to my community as well
Hmm.
to help them succeed. Like
Correct.
maybe like donate to schools or charities or something like that
Of course.
to help them succeed as well.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So, you know, I'm noticing a lot of similarities with you and myself actually, because I'm recalling like very vividly now when I actually had this meeting, with my business partner. Because I'll be completely transparent with you. Like, yes, we have a 7 step selection process. This is essentially like step one. We're just getting to know one another. We won't really talk too much about business. But when I really think back about when I kind of talked, to Tona, my business partner, you know, literally my family is what kind of drives me. I want to give back to my
Mhm.
community. I
Yeah.
want to inspire others and give back charity, to schools, give back to my people. And
Yeah.
so, I can see, you're a go-getter. You're very ambitious. Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
Something that I learned was that I was too ambitious. And I didn't learn that until I was, I actually, finished the process or what, like I was like halfway through the process and my coach sat me down. She's like,
Mhm.
"Christopher, I love your energy. I love your attitude, but you're overly ambitious." And at first I was like, "That's a good thing, right?" And she's like, "It's a good thing. But think about it like this." She was like, "When you're like, let's say, you're trying to chase rabbits, there's an opportunity there, there's an opportunity, there's an opportunity there. If you're trying to chase all these rabbits, you're never going to catch one. But if you just
Mhm.
chase one rabbit, you have a higher chance of catching it than if you try to chase like 5 or 10 rabbits at the same time."
Yeah,
So she was like,
that
just
makes
chase
sense.
one at a time. And back then I was like, I didn't really know what she was saying. I was kind of like, what? Like, what do you mean? But now I'm like, that makes a lot of sense now because
Mhm.
I was very similar to you. I remember, I was like, what was I? I was working full time at the bank. I have a girlfriend, so a lot of time right there. My
Mhm.
family, I was doing online school, so like I had to, like hop on Zooms to do school, do homework, and I remember I have like 2 dogs at the time, so I was taking care of them too, and I was doing a lot of things, I had a lot of commitments, things like that. So I kind of wanted to ask, like, I see you have, some commitments. I see, you have a lot of things going on, So like, I just want to ask, like, how do you like manage your time, like, and how do you feel like, this opportunity would, kind of align with, with your goals and with like with what you have going on for yourself.
How I manage my time, I use an app called Google Keep,
Mm.
and do you know about it?
I've heard about it from some
Okay.
friends. They said Google, yeah.
Yeah, I use that. I make like little notes for each of my classes that I have,
Hmm.
and I just use that to track the assignments that I have, and that keeps me up to date with what I have to do. And then I finish an assignment, I check it off, and then I go to the next thing.
Hmm.
Then I also like write down reminders for anything important that I have to do. If I have to call someone, email someone, or turn in a paper or something like that. That helps keep me organized and on track of everything and how I feel that this partnership would align with my goals or whatever I'm doing right now.
Hmm.
I would need to like know exactly what
No,
I would
yeah,
have to commit
exactly.
to really answer that question
Hmm.
because in the summer, what I'll be doing, I'll be working full time,
Hmm.
so I can't say that I'll be able to have lots of time to give to something else at that moment.
Hmm.
But if I could work something out with my schedule and see. But right now, like in these next couple of weeks before graduating, um, I think these next couple of months are going to be pretty busy for me
Hmm.
because I have a bunch of performances going on, have my tests, graduation. I have a bunch of stuff going on in the
Yeah.
next couple of weeks,
Hmm.
so I'll be pretty busy. But if I don't, I would like to find a way to be able to work
Okay.
things out and see if I could fit things into my schedule
Hmm.
once I know full what I'll have to do.
No,
And
exactly. No, of course, no, yeah, and that makes sense. Yeah. So I kind of just wanted to share with you, uh, yes, this is like a business opportunity, but yeah, I feel like it's more than that. It's also a mentorship. So yeah, there's a partnership there, and that partnership is, I like to call it, what is it? It's like a two-way partnership. Like, obviously I have to give you my time. You obviously have to give me your time as well, but that's why I like to kind of have these meetings, because I want you, to evaluate me. Am I someone you'd like to partner with? But at the same time, I like to also evaluate you to see, if you're someone I'd like to partner with. And so, the reason I kind of asked you that question was because, yeah, I saw, you had a lot of commitments, but that's good. You have ways of, keeping yourself, up to date. You have, obviously like a planner, you have a checklist. And so,
Mhm.
that's great. I didn't even have one of those when I was in high school, I remember. And so, something that I actually really like about um, this, opportunity, I'd say, is that it's not supposed to really take up, too much of your time. It's something you kind of just do on the side, like when you have time. And
Oh,
that's literally why, like, one of the main reasons why I started it, because I was still in college when I started this opportunity. I was like, man, I'm a full time college student. I don't got time for this. Like, I got
mhm,
like midterms. I got this. Like, I'm taking 16 units, and like I'm working part time. Like, I don't got time for this. Like this business thing. Like, I love to do it, but I just don't got time. And so then when I realized, it's like there's not like a certain commitment you gotta kind of like put into it. Because when I first started, I thought it was maybe like an internship or like a job, but it's literally
mhm,
not that. It's like it's a business opportunity. So it's like completely different from that. So it's like if you
mhm,
like to give like 1 hour of it, out of your week, just give it an hour. If you like to give it 10 hours, give it 10 hours. So it's pretty much based upon you, because what you put in is what you get out. And so that's kind
mhm,
of what I learned, throughout the process. But something I'd also like to kind of share with you is that the reason why we have this 7 step selection process is literally like so you can kind of figure that out, to see if this is something you
mhm,
want to do. Because you're not going to commit to anything literally until, like, let's say, you want to launch your business, until you actually want to get started. But we break it
mhm,
down into 7 steps because, it's a lot. Yeah, we can be on a meeting right now, maybe for like 5, 7 hours. I could tell you everything. You're not gonna want to do that, and I'm not gonna want to do that. You're gonna get
mhm.
hungry,
Yeah,
I'm gonna get hungry, and then we're gonna start talking about the most random things. So like,
yeah.
and so
Mhm,
like that's why we kind of break it down into little steps. 7 steps to kind of make it easier, for one another, so it's not
mhm,
so long and just boring at the time. But
mhm,
yeah, so I'd say like the first step, we're just getting to know one another. You're getting
mhm.
to know me a little bit more. I'm getting to know you. Obviously you're someone who's very ambitious. uh, you
Thank
know
you.
and the second step, we're gonna show you, like the business model, how the business works. Essentially pretty much the structure of it, and yeah, well, how it works, and kind of show you like a little slide sheet. You can kind of see that. I'd also like to introduce you to my business partner, someone who I work very closely with. He introduced this amazing opportunity to me, and I feel like you guys would also kind of click. I feel like we kind of got along, so I feel like you might get along with him as well.
That's good. That's
um,
good.
but yeah, and then like the third step is actually where you kind of see the whole picture. You see the company, you see how the money works, you see pretty much essentially everything. And then
Okay.
you're gonna have, most likely after today, you're gonna have some questions, and then after the next meeting and after the next meeting, that's completely normal. I had a bunch of questions too. But
Okay.
no, yeah, so I mean pretty much, um like it is a process. It doesn't take a lot of time, and it's pretty much based upon how much time you want to give it and how
Mhm,
fast you want to move on. Because my coach, she took 3 weeks to finish the process. Me
mhm,
personally, I took like a month and a half because I was working full time. I
mhm,
had a lot of commitments at school, through the summer, things like that. Programs, just like you. I remember I was doing some like internship type of thing as well, on top of
mhm.
working like 45 hours plus. And so I was doing a lot, but I also, just like you, I like a challenge. I was stretching myself. I was up, to like 12, 1, 2 in the morning,
Oh, that's
doing
crazy.
homework. Yeah, just like
I
doing
need more
stuff.
sleep.
And then, all right, hey, you
I
beat me
need more
there. You
sleep.
beat me there. You don't go to sleep, right? And so me, I was really big on like personal development. I was reading this book. I finished it a while ago, but it's called "Can't Hurt Me" by David Goggins. So I was always someone who like to like really push yourself. Really try to go to the extreme. So that's why I did so many things. And I was like, all right, I can do it. I can do it. And then I ended up getting burnt out, and I'm like, no, I hate
Yeah,
this
that's what
feeling.
happened to
And
me. That's why I had to quit.
I
I
hate
got
life. Exactly, because you're doing
mhm,
so much, and then like you just get burned out. You're like, oh, I'm so
yeah.
and it's frustrating, because like I feel like
Mhm.
we're very similar, so you can definitely
Yeah, I remember.
know the feeling
I
exactly, yeah.
remember.
But I know I kind of mentioned mentorship, like about the 7 step selection process. I can kind of go more in depth about that if you have any more other questions. But I actually wanted to ask like I know I spoke about mentorship. I wanted to ask you, like, do you have any experience with mentorship? Like, have you ever had a mentor before?
Yes. Um, yeah. For Upward Bound.
Mm-hmm.
they pair me with. They have it. Their station. Do you know about Upper Band?
I know about it because I was gonna do it, but I never ended up
Okay.
following through because I think I like forgot like a
Okay.
deadline, so I wasn't able to do it
Oh,
unfortunately.
it's sad. It's an
Yeah,
amazing
but I wanted
program.
to do it. Yes, I know. So I know of it.
They pair you. Well, they have like one advisor set at different schools.
Yeah.
So I was just working with the advisor who's at my school, but she ended up becoming like really like a really like big big inspiration in my life or just a
Mm-hmm.
big mentor in my life. Like since ninth grade, she's been overseeing my process ever
Mm-hmm.
since. So we've been able to form a really close bond.
Mm-hmm.
But she's just been there helping me through. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I through Upward Bound, I've taken seven seven college courses since ninth
Wow.
grade. And then I've also with VIPS. VIPS is a vice provost initiative for pre-college scholars program
Mm-hmm.
at UCLA. And I
Wow.
dormed at UCLA in my 10th grade summer for 3 weeks and I for 5 weeks in my 11th grade summer. And I took a total of three college courses over that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I've taken 10 college courses in total. But
Okay.
my advisor, she helped me basically just get acclimated to taking my first college courses. I had to take the bus from my home to LACC and take the classes in person. She was there to oversee that, also give me college workshops high school workshops to help me with whatever I needed. She gave tutoring as well, but also college preparatory workshops to help me like my A through G's to know to be ready to graduate or other stuff for college. She
Mm-hmm.
gave me that. And like that's pretty similar to what all my other mentors and all my other programs
Mm-hmm.
have done. So I just have like a whole bunch of different mentors, but
Mm.
they all really do the same thing. They just help me um either with high school tutoring or to get prepared for college.
Mm.
But they're all really
Okay.
cool and I like them a lot. And they've helped me grow a lot as a person.
No, yeah. It sounds like like they've helped you a lot. And that's awesome. I remember I had a like yeah my teacher for Avid. She was someone very similar. I'd say like to you like that as well. Um,
Mhm.
I kind of want to ask you though. Uh, you know, let me ask you this question because it's like the same, but it's a little different. So I want to ask you.
Mhm.
So like, who do you go to when you ask for like financial advice or like personal advice?
Hmm. It's been, well, I guess honestly, I use all of my advisors, honestly,
Really?
but the one that I guess I have the easiest access to would be the one for Upward Bound.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah,
Okay.
but I go to all of them, honestly.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Oh yeah. I mean,
because
that's
I
awesome.
asked them, I try to ask every single one of them so I can get see if they have something different to say for the same question.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like they're all like in higher positions than I am, so I
Mm-hmm.
trust their word more than I
Okay.
would trust my word. So I'm like, let's see what they have to say, and then I'll make the best decision based on what I feel is
Okay.
right with
Okay,
combined
for
with my
sure.
word.
I have a question for you. Why do you choose to go to them and not to your mom?
Because my mother, oh well, for personal problems specifically, um,
Maybe for like financial.
for financial, and well, I do. My mom, well, because she didn't go to college. She didn't go to college. She didn't finish high school either.
Mm.
But so she's not, I guess she's not, she doesn't, that was when she was in high school, that was so long ago. So she just doesn't, she can't help me as much as they can. I do tell her about important
Of
things
course.
that I need her help on. Like she gotta give me a little bit of money for
Of
something. I
course.
go to
That's
her
your
for
mom.
that, of
Yeah.
course. But she just can't, she can't really help me the way that they can with it, but
And that's
it's okay.
exactly why I asked you the question. You
Yeah.
answered it yourself. I was gonna I was gonna break it down, but you just broke it down
Okay.
for me. Literally the point I was trying to make was, because I ask people that question most of the time, 90% of the time. My
Mm,
mom, my dad. Oh, that used to be me too. I used to go to my mom or my dad, ask them for financial
mhm,
advice, ask them for personal like advice as well. Things like that. But when I
Mhm.
realized, that my mom, my dad, they're not qualified to give me financial advice.
Yeah.
If they were, I would go to them, but they're not because I mean, look at our position. We live in
Yeah.
Section 8 housing, so it's
Mhm.
like, wouldn't I end up just like them if I listened to them? And I'm not trying
Yeah.
to throw shade on my parents. I love them. I
Mhm.
still tell them about my personal things. I still share a lot of things, just like you said. But my coach is, someone who's been making more money in her business than her
Mhm.
professional accountant job when she was in college. She graduated at SJSU just what, a year or two ago, and she was making more
Nice.
money from this business than she was working as an accountant. And so I was like, okay, my coach is definitely a lot more qualified, to help me with my finances than my mom
Mhm.
or than my dad. And so, not because I don't like them, but because
Yeah.
they just aren't qualified, like just like you. My parents, they never went to college, so, and when my mom did graduate high school, it was a long time ago. It was a few
Yeah.
years back
It
ago, so it
is.
was a lot different. But, you know, I'm kind of just a little stunned. Most people don't, like really like have that critical thinking to actually, think like that. So I'm
Thank
surprised that you
you.
do. So,
Thank
I
you.
applaud you for that.
Thank
It's
you.
like, this is why I like networking. You see, you never know who you're gonna meet.
Mhm.
It's like every day
Yeah.
it's a new thing. But yeah, no, especially kudos to you. You're in high school still, and yeah,
Mhm.
that's amazing. But
Thank you.
yeah, I mean, I'm just, it kind of just, you got me off guard there. I wasn't not expecting that, but yeah, that's awesome. You've had mentors. You go to them, you ask them for advice because that they can give you a better answer, and
Yeah.
that's exactly why I go to my coach and my mentor when it comes to certain problems, things that I'm going through, because I know that they can give me a better answer than someone like my mom. And even then, I might still tell my mom, my dad what's going on. I might hear
Yeah.
them out, but I just won't take their advice. I'll just you know because something for me that I struggled with at least before was any advice I hear. Okay, you're right, and I just go do it. But I wouldn't like think about it. Like, okay,
I
this.
have, yeah, a good example of that is my advisor, the same one for Upward Bound.
Uh huh.
She when I figured out what I really wanted to do, be a bioengineer in
Yeah.
11th grade. And of course, I would go to her for like every academic decision that I wanted to make. So and she would pull me in, they always, they pull me out of class sometimes for meetings, like just checkups. And when the first time I told her that I wanted to be a bioengineer, she was like, "Oh, well, let's check like your top college." My top college at the time was UCLA.
Yeah.
So like, let's check their for the bioengineering major, let's
Mm-hmm.
check what they require for math and science. And then we looked, and my my math and science grades or stats did not compare well to the recommended stats. So when she saw that, she was like, I think you should switch your major. And
Wow.
she kept trying to tell me that for a good like couple of months. But I was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I asked all of my other advisors, I was like, I have this one advisor that's telling me to switch my major. I'm like, what do you guys think? I told my mom, I told everybody. And I kept pushing back against her saying that because I was like, I don't really want to do that. And that doesn't sound right to
Well,
me.
it's your
Um,
dream. No one can change your dream
yeah,
but
that's why
you.
I was like,
Yeah.
I want to be a bioengineer and I want to do that. And I feel
Yeah.
like I can do that. So
Period.
I'm gonna try my best. And it ended up working out. Now I'm going for UC Merced for bioengineering. So it's
Hey,
kind of
you
like,
picked a perfect
ah,
school. This is literally a research based school.
yes, I'm
Yeah.
so happy.
Yeah.
So thankful.
It's kind of unfortunate. You're gonna come and I'm gonna go.
Oh,
Oh
that's
man,
sad.
yeah. Cause I'm gonna
That's
go to
sad.
I'm gonna go to San Jose State University. I'm gonna I know that they're a business school, so I know that
Mm,
they're gonna have a lot more career opportunities for me for the future. But I
that's
definitely
good.
love Merced. It's not a bad school. It's a great school, matter of fact.
Yeah.
Um, but they're barely gonna come out with the business major next year when I leave,
Okay.
and it's like business administration, something I would like to do, but I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
management, business, and economics, which is a
Mm.
lot more economics based. So I'm over here doing like quantitative
Okay.
economics and like micro and macro and graphs and stuff. So it's
I
fun,
hate
but
all that stuff.
no, yeah, but I mean, that's awesome. Like you're able to really kind of I'd say break down problems and not follow the crowd because most people advisor change your major. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I was like, I
Yeah.
don't want to do that.
Hey, no, you were standing your ground, and I mean, that's
Mhm.
another thing. Like that's really amazing because you know most people will just switch to majors, or you know what, you're right, I should switch my
Yeah.
major, I'm not good enough. But no,
Hmm.
you have a dream, you know what you want to do, and you're gonna go for it, and no one's gonna stop you. You're the only person who can stop yourself. So, that's great. That you kind of have that mentality already, and so
Hmm.
I know we were kind of talking about mentors and about like advisors, things like that. I kind of want to talk to you, a little bit more about my mentor. I know I kind of just mentioned him, kind of, was talking about it, but his name is Phil. Um,
Hmm.
just like me, my mentor was an immigrant. He immigrated from Vietnam. He came to the U.S. when he was like 18 years old, had broken English, and he's working as a dishwasher and going to San Jose State University. And, by the time he reached 22 years old, because of this opportunity, he's actually able to retire himself. And I was like, what?
That's good.
At 22, yeah, I was like, hey, you, like, I'm only 4 years. That's pretty dope, But I was kind of like, hey, how'd you do that? I was kind of skeptical. I was like, hey, you moving things around, or like you selling, or like what are you doing? I was kind of skeptical. I had like I had like my thoughts, because I mean, when I was younger, like it was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then so like at 23, he retired his mom, and at 24 he retired his dad. And I'm like, okay, maybe he stops there. But no. At 25, he sponsored both of his parents from Vietnam, and he flew them over to the US. And to this day, I still don't know how much it is to sponsor somebody, but I believe it's a lot of money. So to sponsor two people and bring them, from Vietnam to the US is amazing. And I had that question. I'm like, hey, you know, is what he doing? Is like, is it even legal? Like, what is he doing? Like, what is he selling? What type of business is this? Had those questions, and you probably have questions as well. But I'd say because of this process, I was able to kind of learn it, break it down step by step, and so I was actually on the third step of the process when I got to meet my mentor. It was an in-person event. It was a meeting. It was in Santa Clara, and I remember it was at a hotel, and I can vividly remember the day because I wanted to drive and go there just to the meeting. My mom was like, "No, you said he's from Vietnam. Oh, he's gonna steal you." I'm like, "Mom, what are you talking about?" Like,
That's the stuff my mom says
and
too.
I have a Latina mom. My mom's Mexican, but my mom, no, they're gonna steal you. I'm taking you. I'm gonna wait outside the hotel. Like, you're gonna call me if anything happens. I'm like, Mom, relax. Like, I don't think anything's gonna happen, but okay, I'll let you take me. We end up getting traffic. I ended up getting like an hour late to the meeting.
Oh
I'm
no.
like, no, I was passed out. I woke up like, I'm like, the meeting, and I like full suit and tie. My tie's not even on the right way. I'm like little flimsy little tie, and like it was all bad. All right, so like my
Oh
first professional little business conference I've ever been to, and so I walk in, I can't even find the room. I text Tona, I'm like, hey Tona, where you at, bro? Like, I don't know where to go. Like, I don't see no meeting, like no sign, nowhere. Like, where I go? He comes down the stairs because it's like a massive hotel. And he comes down the stairs, like, oh, it's up here. I'm like, we go up, and I'm like, oh no, like this is the end. Like they're gonna rob me now. Like I'm going up the stairs, like I'm cooked, like. And I was like, we're getting ready to text my mom, like, hey mom, come get me. I go up the stairs, like open, like he opens the door, people suits and ties, like just like
yeah.
people speaking. I'm like, whoa, this is cool. Sits me right in the front. I'm there, like I'm super extrovert. I love talking to people. Like I can just network and talk to you for days.
That's
I
good.
got my little notebook and pen. I'm like super quiet. I'm in an environment, people I don't know. I like super new experience to me. Like 5 minutes in, oh, we have a first timer. It's your first time here, right, Chris? Yeah. Oh, come up here and introduce yourself. I'm
Oh
like,
my
what?
god.
Huh? What'd you say?
That's
Hi
crazy.
everybody. My name's Christopher Castaneda. Tona invited me. Here you go. What else do I say? Like, like it was so bad, and like I thought I had good public speaking, but when I get put on the spot like that in an environment I did not know, I was like, man, I cannot do this.
Yeah,
I was
it's
like, I was getting
horrible.
tense. I was nervous. I was sweating. Like, I had to get my suit dry cleaned the next day because I was so sweaty. But nah, so after the meeting, I was able to network, talk to a lot of people there. There were some professionals there. There was other college students just like me, which is
That's
why I felt so
good.
like actually good in the environment. After like the meeting ended, I actually talked to people, and it was completely different than what I expected. I thought people were gonna be quiet, like staying like
Yeah.
up straight, like you can't slouch. People were yelling, they were clapping, like let's go, and I'm like, yo, what type of business meeting is this? Like what? Like everybody looks professional, but they're not acting professional. And then once the meeting ends, like I start talking to people, I'm like, yo, these people are actually professional. Like, the way they're speaking, like I can't even formulate these words. Like what's coming out of their mouth? And then I see my mentor. Tona introduces me to my coach. My coach introduces me to my mentor, and I see him. I'm like, wait. you're the guy I've seen on the videos. Because, we have some material, he makes some material, some videos, things like that to kind of teach us about business owner mindset, things like that. And so I'm like, it's him. I'm like, let me introduce myself. I'm like, how's it going, Phil? My name is Christopher Castañeda. Um, and, I straight up asked him because, like, in my head, I'm like, no, this guy's a scammer. There's no way he retired at 22. Like, I don't believe it. I've never met anybody who's retired. And if they have, it's like on Instagram, some like fake TikTok thing, like they're trying to scam you. So I'm like, all right. I'm like, Phil, if what you're doing is legal and ethical, will you be my mentor? And he looked at me straight in the eye. He's like, Christopher, he's like, thousands of people asking that same question. Every single business meeting, every single business conference. What makes you different than everyone else? And I was like, I didn't know what to say. I was too still. I was thinking. I was like, I was like the pending. I was like the little loading sign in my head. And so I pulled out my phone. I'm like, I bet I got this. Pull out my resume. I'm like, I started working at 15. Da 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 da. I got this experience. I got this, and that. He's like, put your phone away. I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, your resume tells me nothing about you. I'm like, what do you mean by that? He's like, you know how many people lie on their resumes? And then in my head, I'm like, dang, I should have lied on my resume. I've been too honest. What the heck? I'm like, dang, he got me there. And then in my head, I'm like, what? Like, okay. I literally couldn't think of anything else. And then he was like, I look for people with character. I'm like, what do you mean by that? He's like, people with accountability. If what you say you're going to do matches what you do. People with communication. People with integrity. People with transparency. And so when he kind of started naming these things, I was like, wow, like these are like, like I never thought about that. So he pretty much told me that he bases a business partner off of character rather than credentials. He doesn't care, you could be like a CEO of this and that, but if you have a bad attitude and a bad character, all right, you're not cut out to be a business partner. And so when he told me that, I was like, let me test this. I don't believe that. Because I had that ego back then. I had to set my ego aside. But I'm like, you know what? I don't believe that. I'm like, all right, Phil. I'm like, I got arrested when I was 15. I got sent to juvenile hall. I got expelled from high school. I came back and went to college. I was a convicted felon. I pleaded guilty to it. I'm like, he's like, okay, that's completely fine. You still want to build this business? If you have the right attitude, the right mindset, and you have all those things that I just said, be my business partner. And I was like, bro wasn't lying. Like, he doesn't care about my background. He doesn't care, what I am. But if I have a good attitude and if I'm someone who's committed, who wants to build this business, he'll gladly accept me. And so I was like, man, they really don't judge me for who I was or who I did. I told him, I was like, Phil, like, I used to smoke weed consistently. He's like, okay, we don't promote that here, but, if that's something you do on your own time, good for you. Just don't do it here in the business, like around, everyone else. Don't bring it on to other people. And I'm like, wow. He didn't say get out of here. He didn't tell me to leave. I'm surprised. And so that kind of got me thinking. I'm like, all right, you know what? And then after that, he kind of just told me, I want to keep seeing you, Chris. Keep coming around. I want to see you at the next meeting. So kept coming around. I kept learning more about the business because that was only the third step. There's 7 steps. And so I just kept coming around. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm starting to like this. They're not judging me for who I am. And if anything, they're just helping me. And I don't got to pay a single dollar. I'm like, I'm not paying these people anything. What the heck? Like, you think I'm going to pay for this? And so that was like my first question. Just telling them, hey, how much I got to pay, bro? Like, just be like, keep it a buck. Like, because like, I know for all these like mentorship things, like, I got to pay money, right? He's like, yeah, you're right. For most of them, but not for this one. The only thing we charge people with is their time to see if they're willing to learn about something. So that's why I told you before, it's kind of like a two-way street when it comes to a partnership, So it's like, I'm never going to charge you a single dollar. And Tona won't either. But low-key, he's that type of guy. He might ask you for a 20. No, I'm playing. But I'm playing. I'm playing. You haven't even met him yet. But nah, trust me. He's going to say that same line. I know him too well. But he's going to say that about me. Like, let's say you do move on. You're interested in learning about it. On the second step, he's going to say that about me. I can guarantee you it. He always says that. But no one should ever ask you for money, all right?
Okay.
Yeah. But no, yeah. So, with this business opportunity, this mentorship, really the only thing we charge you with is time to see if you want to learn about something that, that you're interested in. And if not, that's completely fine, But We're never gonna like ask you for any type of money, things like that, just to see if you're willing to learn and give it maybe an hour, 2 hours of your day. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, that pretty much wraps up the meeting. I'm not sure if you have any comments, questions, concerns. I know we didn't go too much into like about the business, about what it is. But I mean, if you're interested, I can give you like some like surface level, kind of just like break it down as easy as possible. It's
Mhm.
e-commerce and franchising. I'm not sure if you've heard of them.
Well, I can guess what they are, but
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
let
I
you
mean,
explain it.
no, yeah, I can say yeah. So e-commerce. So think about Uber. You know what Uber is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just an application. Uber just owns an app. They don't own any cars. They don't own, well, yeah, they don't own any cars. So what does
Mm.
Uber do? They connect people who need a ride, who have money, to people who have a car, who need money. And what does Uber do? Uber's just a middleman. It connects two people together,
Mm.
and maybe in that transaction, Uber makes like what 6%, and the driver makes 94. No, who do you think makes more there?
Over like in the long run?
Just in that scenario.
Uh, the driver?
Yeah, you're right. The driver.
Okay.
The driver makes more. 94% is more than 6%. Yeah.
Yeah,
But then if you
okay.
zoom out and you look at the world and you look at Uber all around, Uber in Merced, Uber in LA, Uber in the Bay Area, who do you think's making more money in the long run?
Uber.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's like what like very like I'd say like the simplest way kind of to like describe e-commerce. Another example is like Airbnb. They're
Mm.
just the middleman. Airbnb doesn't own any real estate. Yet people put their own real estate on Airbnb. Why? Because they want to make money. People who
Mhm.
need a place to stay at, they get the Airbnb. So what does Airbnb do? Connects both of those people together. And so
Mm.
that's essentially like the most simplest way I can kind of I'd say like give you for like I'd say e-commerce and for franchising. Man, I can use pretty much almost any fast food example. I can use like Starbucks,
Okay.
McDonald's, literally. Yeah, let's use McDonald's. So about franchising, it's simple, but it's not easy.
Mm.
And McDonald's, for example, they have a drive-through. Their menu is exactly the same at every single McDonald's.
Mhm.
Anybody can do it. You can hire like a 10-year-old and you can hire a 30-year-old. Like it's in front of you how to make the patties. It's not rocket science. That's why it's so simple.
Mm.
And it's not easy because no one has $1.2 million to buy a McDonald's or to kind of start up their own. If like
Yeah.
if you want to like actually scale up your business, you need to buy another McDonald's. You can't really make any changes to it, because all of them were really the same. And
Mhm.
so I say, it ties back into this business because this business is it's pretty simple. It's not that difficult. There's only
Okay.
like, two things you really need to do in this business, which is really just I'd say like what? Just really going out there, just networking with people and then,
Mm.
kind of just sharing, like our product or service. And the reason it's not easy is because we're human. Human error. We're emotional. We got our own lives going on. Something's always happening. Like yesterday, something happened. You,
Yeah.
you see, like people have their own lives. People got things going on. We're human. No one's perfect. We're always doing something. So that's why it's not easy. It's like you gotta learn how to time manage. You gotta learn how to communicate. It's just a lot of things. And for you, it might not be that hard. Because you have some of those skills already. You can kind of bring already, but
Yeah.
this is something it's a process. It's not gonna be done in like a day.
Yeah.
If you did that, then I would be like, okay, like I'm like hands down, I'm praising you because like that would be insane. But that's kind of what we break it up into like a 7-step selection process, and yeah, just pretty much concludes the meeting. I'm not sure if you have any questions, comments, concerns.
Mm.
If you don't have any now, feel free to reach out and let me know. But if you do, totally open to ask, ask
I'm
away.
tired right now.
Nah, you're good. You're good.
Questions later though. I will.
No, and that's totally fine. I didn't have any questions, and then after the meeting, I'm like, oh wait, I got like 5 questions now.
Yeah.
I just texted, yeah, you got my LinkedIn.
Mm.
I am gonna be honest. I need to get better at checking my LinkedIn.
It's
So
okay.
I was gonna ask you, is there like a better way we can like stay like in contact, like maybe phone number?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here.
Uh, I can type it in here.
I was gonna put mine in the chat, so you beat me to it.
Okay. Well, I'll see if I can do it first.
Oh, what the heck?
Okay. There it is.
All right. Here, let me take a picture of it. All right then. No, yeah, I asked for that because I checked my messages
Okay.
first, then I
Okay.
checked my LinkedIn. But I also wanted to ask you, are you someone who likes to read? I know you said that your books were kind of collecting dust. Or are you someone who likes to kind of watch a video and you're a visual learner?
I like reading more overall.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you like reading more, yeah. I just wanted to send you some material because this is material that my mentor usually recommends we send out to people who are interested about learning about the process, kind of just getting started, dipping their feet in the water. Um,
Okay.
I can send you a book. It's from Robert Kiyosaki. It's called Business of the 21st Century. Not sure if you're
Okay.
familiar with him. He wrote a famous book that most people know. It's called Rich Dad Poor Dad. Um, it's all good. It's all good. But no, yeah. So this guy, he's had multiple businesses in the past, and he's pretty much gonna talk about our business. Um, and I can send you the shortened version, so it's not like it doesn't take you forever to finish it. It's like
Okay.
50 to 70 pages, I think, like around there. It's like an ebook, so I can definitely send you that PDF, and then yeah, just let me know what you think about it.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm kind of curious. How long you think it'll take you to read the book?
Um. Well, there's no like deadline, right?
There's no deadline. I'm just kind of curious on
Deadline.
how long it'll take you.
50 to 70 pages. Well, if I really was just reading it nonstop, I could finish that in a day.
Yeah,
But
but
I
I
might
don't know
well
if you want to do that though.
to digest the information. I guess like I'll split it in like less than a week.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I actually want you to analyze it and get the because me too. I can read a book in like few hours. Am I gonna remember
Yeah.
any of it? No. Yeah, so like I
Let's
want you to
do all the
remember these things
syllabus.
so we can talk about them because I send you the book. Let's say you read it maybe like 3 4 days, maybe five. Totally fine. But if we jump into the next meeting, you're literally gonna be leading the meeting. You're gonna be like saying everything
Okay.
with the knowledge that's in the book. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, that kind of concludes today's meeting. You have my number, or well, I'll send you a message so then you can save my number. And if you have
Okay.
any questions, just shoot me a text, and yeah, I'm just a text away, and I'll send you the material as well.
Okay. Nice. This was a good meeting.
Yeah, no, it was awesome meeting you too, Navaeh. And then, again, I know I just met you, but I'm proud of you.
Thank you so
Nah,
much.
no
Thank
worries.
you.
You're all
And thank
good.
you for reaching out to me
Of
too.
course. Oh
I
yeah.
really didn't expect anybody to reach out to me. It's like, I don't have anything on my profile. I'm like, why would people reach out to me? There's nothing there. I would think I'm a bot or something like that.
Nah,
I wouldn't interact with my profile. But thank you so much for
of
this
course.
opportunity.
No, of
Thank
course,
you.
yeah. Yeah, well, I
Okay.
mean, you have a good rest of your day then, right, Nevaeh? It was good talking to you,
You
and we'll
too.
stay in touch then, all right? All
Goodbye.
right, bye bye.
Oh.